In this section, we will build a project called feedback form. This form will allow users to provide their name, email, and feedback, which will be submitted to the website owner. The form is designed with validation to ensure users enter accurate and complete information. Key features of this project include: the submit feedback button remains disabled, like this. We cannot click it. It remains disabled until all required fields are filled out correctly. If the user skips the name input, an error message, name is required, will be displayed. So we skip it, there is an error message, name is required. The email field validates the input to ensure it is a properly formatted email address. Random characters, only valid email formats will not be accepted. So it's empty. Where's information email is required. Now, it's not an email format. To make it email format, we need to make like, for example, .com. So it's still invalid because there must be something after that. Okay. Let's just name Andrew X. It's not my real email, but yeah. So the feedback field ensures that users cannot submit an empty message. So the same thing, we cannot submit an empty message. But if we put something here, now our button is active. So error message provides clear feedback, guiding users to correct any mistakes before submission. Real-time validation ensures a smooth and intuitive form filling experience. To implement this functionality, we will leverage Angular's Forms module, which simplifies the process of building and managing forms in Angular applications. By the end of this section, you will have fully functional feedback form with client-side validation, and you will gain a solid understanding of how to create and validate forms in Angular. So let's get into coding. Now, as we have our Angular project created, we need to do few things in order to set it up. So first thing is removing this app component content, removing this spec file, removing router outlet, removing title. Here it's fine. Remove this comment. And the styles.scss will apply a global styling to every element. So it will be margin 0. So we just remove default margin and padding. It's very useful to do this even for every project you make. And border box. So maybe you don't really understand what border box is. So border box ensures the padding and border are included in the element's total width and height, preventing unexpected size overflow and making layout calculations easier. So it makes styling more easier and more predictable. And second thing, we open terminal and we generate a new component, which will be ng-generate component feedback form. Okay. And this always remove a spec file. and we just import it to imports yeah, and for selector, so always copy selector to make sure there's no problem. Okay, so as we done it, so make sure you have this here, and also in an HTML template, ngserve to test our project. Refresh. Okay, so it seems like everything works just fine, and we can get to next stage of coding. So let's get into creating of our feedback form. Close all, close feedback form. Wait a second. Let's just start with HTML this time. So we'll just code HTML and CSS, and after we'll implement forms module functionalities. So this way it will be easier to understand. Feedback form. For now there will be no action. Inside form group we will have label. Label for name. Type text. Add equals name. Equals off. It's this one is a placeholder. And excuse me, it was a misclick. So this one will be again a placeholder for inner navigation error. Alright, now will be the last one, form group. Okay. Form group. Label for feedback. Name ID, I mean autocomplete off. So there is no suggestions for what we'll write in this input. It's very useful. Text area is the end of text area. Now again, and its placeholder for feedback button type submit. It's submit and if there is success, it will be its placeholder for. Alright, so let's see how it looks. Okay, it's really awful and it does not work for now. So let's get to CSS and style it a little bit, so at least it will look nice for now. We'll start with form container max width 500 pixels. For this project we'll use relative units like rem, background color, you can make background color to what you want, it doesn't matter. Border radius, it's 8 pixels, box shadow, okay, so it looks a little bit better. Now let's style H2 text align center margin bottom 1.5 rem color. It will be somewhat blue color. Okay. Form group margin bottom label display, or it's label this display block font white bold margin let's take a look. Okay, so now it's starting to resemble something, it's starting to look really good. Okay, input and text area, so it's where we put text ourselves. Padding 12 pixels, font size. So it simply means that it will be 2 times bigger than I'm sorry, this one form Okay, never mind, we did not specify font size above. Okay, never mind. Border 1 pixel solid. Border radius 6 pixels. Very small styling. Input focus. So it's when we click on it to deal it to say it simply. Border color. Color. Okay, so it will be light red color. Now you won't see it anyway. I mean, and RAM. So this font size will be like 10% smaller. Not. Let's make it 10% smaller than input text area font size, because you're not using pixels, you're using a relative font size. Just you understand. Button. It's text color when we say color. Border. Border radius it's 6 pixels. Now it's font size 1 rem. Button HV. I mean, so disabled button will have a different styling. success is text. So a green color. Okay, so now it looks like it should. There is no validation, so we cannot see error for now, but alright. So it so styling looks fine. So let's go to our next section. So next thing we are going to do, we are going to go to feedback form component, and we will need to import command module and also forms module. Alright. Don't forget to put it here and here if it's not important, if it's not imported automatically. And now you're going to create an object called feedback, which will be connected with ng model to our HTML template. So name it's empty when it starts. Oh, email feedback. Submitted equals false. Now on submit. So we'll call this method when we finish form submission. Form submitted, this feedback. This feedback equals no, this. Okay, so but we can we can do some improvements. So if form is not valid, return. So we make an early return if form is not valid, and otherwise we proceed with this piece of code. Now we go to feedback form template, and we need to make some modifications. So we start here. We need to connect it to our forms module, feedback form equals ng form ng submit. So now we'll call our submit function on submit, and we will call this as argument. So just take a look at this method. So we pass form as argument, and argument is taken from this thing. Next modification we must do is we need to add a few things to our input. So let's start with ng model. We have used it before, so you should not be shocked when you see it. ng-models equals feedback name. So ng-model is connected to its feedback.name. There is also name equals, and I will explain you later why it's required, hashtag name. Now required means that we cannot finish the submitting if input is empty, for example. Alright, so now in this error class we are going to name is required. So this message will be shown when there is an error, and also ng-if equals name dot invalid. Name touched. So name, this one, is connected to this, and invalid means that it's too short. For example, it's empty. And name touched, it means that if we touch this input, so we click on it, it becomes true. Alright, so if it's empty and it's touched, we show an error. I hope you can understand this. Okay, so now we are going to take care of our email input. So okay, ng-model like this equals email equals ng-model required email not ARIA, but I already have autocomplete because I always put this at the end. So okay, let me take a look. It's not form, but it's email. Yes, okay, so this one must be the same as here. And now in our error message there will be two options. So ng-if equals email invalid and email touched. Okay, so now there will be a message ng-if so it verifies if they are errors, and if they are, we have this message error. I mean, ML is required. Next thing, ng-if, ng-if yet now it will be invalid email format. Okay, so I would like to compile this to see if there are any errors, because maybe it could be something. It looks fine. In error message there will be feedback is required. So now we're going to modify a text area, and in text area we need ng module for sure, feedback. Now it will be, it's required for sure, otherwise it does not make sense to create feedback form without feedback. Feedback build ng model. Now, so this one, this feedback is connected to this. Okay, I hope you understand it at this point. ng, I'm sorry, ng if, of course ng if. So if field is invalid and wait a second, I believe, okay, we need to make this button disabled if when feedback form is invalid. So when it does not meet all the requirements, like some fields are empty, this button is disabled. Now, if submitted, class success, it's fine. Now, thank you for your feedback. So name of the person, feedback name, it will be string interpolation from this name, where will get back to you at feedback email if necessary. So let me test our application. Alright, I believe that I understand the problem. So in order to fix that, in our inputs or text areas, we must always have a property name. So okay, so let's try this out. Refresh. name is required. Okay, so it seems to be working. Just try to okay, it seems to be fine. Now Andrew, okay, test. Okay. Alright, so it seems to be working perfectly as you wanted. So the goal of this attribute is to create an identification of input for Angular, because otherwise it cannot recognize that's unique. So we really need to do this, and otherwise it's not working. So it won't work. So do not forget about this name attribute.